Amandus-Abenroth Gymnasium in Cuxhaven and Titus Salt School in Bradford wanted to work together on a language learning project. The main target of the project was to get students speaking German or speaking English and using it in a creative way. We also wanted to expand on the skills that they might need in the future. So in terms of the educational purpose of the film, it was to make sure the students used language in a real life situation, but they also improved on their employability skills as well at the same time. We wanted to promote entrepreneurship, get the students to think about how they could promote themselves in the film, how they could use any skills that they'd learnt outside into publicising the film or into their acting or the music. So in terms of its educational value, it had so many different strands to it, with the art, the music, the filmmaking, even down to keeping a blog. All the students could contribute something and learnt from it. We were lucky enough to get some funding from Comenius, which supported us to do this.
Das Einzige, was ich mag, ist meine Musik. Und jetzt kann ich selbst das nicht mehr machen. Ich kann es nicht glauben, dass Mutter mir meine Gitarre weggenommen hat. Nur weil ich die ganze Nacht geübt habe. Dabei lebe ich doch nur für meinen Traum. Einmal Rock am Ring.
We worked with approximately 25 students from each school on this project, and it was done on a reciprocal exchange basis. So we went to Cuxhaven for 10 days and we did some filming there, and then the students came back to us in Bradford and we completed the rest of the filming. Everything began in 2010. Heike from the German school came to visit us in CuxAire, and we had terrible snow, but we managed to meet in spite of that, and we came up with the idea that we wanted to look at a fairy tale, maybe a folk tale from Germany, and bring this to life, because a lot of these folk tales have, they echo real life, they have a moral, and we wanted to bring one of those to life. So after 2010 we applied for the Comenius funding, and we began actually working on the film in June or July 2011. The process started with Skype sessions. We were in Bradford, we had a class full of students in Cuxhaven too, and we worked with a professional animator called David Bunting, and he ran sessions for us, first of all on how filmmaking worked, on how animating worked. From there we decided on which film we wanted to produce, which fairy tale we were going to redevelop, and we came up with a few ideas, and we took those votes, we took that to a whole school vote. So we presented the ideas, the students presented the ideas in assemblies to the whole school, and they voted on the Musicians of Bremen. So after that we had more Skype sessions with a storyboard artist, with the animator and with a musician. We held live auditions on Skype for the main characters in our film, and in the meantime students were coming up with different ideas on how the film would work and how the characters in the Musicians of Bremen would be played through our characters, what personality they would have, what would happen to them on their journey, and what their problems would be that they needed to overcome. Then one of our students came up with the idea, as she was listening to some music, that it would be really nice to use the aha video Take On Me, or that idea where it starts in real life and then they enter an animated world. In the video originally it was a comic. We chose magical world in animation, and then once they've overcome their problem they go back into real life and everything's better again. So after we'd done all the planning, we did our first exchange. We did a lot of filming around Cuxhaven. We did a lot of scenes on the beach. We also made masks so that when we were doing the animation, we had the real characters wearing their masks and in character to draw over, to do the rotoscoping and using Toon Boom to do the animation. For every single movement, obviously it's a different drawing, so there's a lot of animating to be done. And then to put everything together, we used Adobe Premiere to put the film together and to put the sound on top, to do the editing.
Nothing shows more powerfully the duty of every man than to look after the needs of others.
So the actors were actually involved in all of it, even though when they're in the mythical world, they're drawn over in animation. We had some students who went to work with local artists in Cuxhaven to produce the background scenes. We had students working on animation the whole time. We had students filming, and we had some students coming up with a musical score. So any of the background sound, any of the music, the students also created during the exchange project in Cuxhaven. We then had 3 months in between, 2 or 3 months in between, where we worked on animation after school. The school in Cuxhaven, Amandus-Abenroth Gymnasium, worked on it in class time as well. And then they came over to us in Bradford, and we completed the filming, and we recorded the sound, and it was all put together. And it all culminated on the 9th of March this year with a big filming at the National Media Museum in Bradford, where it was shown before an actual film. It was a very exciting moment.
Na, wer singt denn hier? Es sind Schüler des Amandus-Abenroth Gymnasiums. Sie stellen gerade den Titelsong zu ihrem Filmprojekt vor.
What really surprised me was the students' creativity. As teachers and as organisers of the project, we thought that we'd have a bit more control probably, but the students came up with all the ideas, and they led the ideas, and they turned the film into what it is now, which is a really creative piece of work.
Is that story? The
Musicians of CuxAire.
yeah, that one.
Looking back, I suppose at the time the difficulty was that we were under time pressure. We spent 10 days in Germany and we had a plan, and if something went wrong with the technology, obviously we were put back a day, and then we had another time constraint of the 10 days, and the fact that we were booked in to have a premiere at the National Media Museum that was advertised on the 9th of March, and we knew that we had to have everything finished for them. So I would say that the most difficult thing was the time pressure, and obviously managing 50 students to make sure that they all had a role to play and that they were all used all of the time, but equally the time was used meaningfully was the most difficult part. From our school, we used students from years 10 up, so they were 14 to 17. And from Amandus-Abenroth Gymnasium, they were all in year 10, so I believe they were 15, 16, 17. With Amandus-Abenroth Gymnasium, we've now got a link that we want to build on, and we are hoping this July to take some students over to do work experience. We're hoping to take around 10 just this year to pilot it, and students will spend 2 days in Wolfsburg at the Volkswagen factory having a look at how Volkswagen works and making a short film about their experience there. They'll then spend 2 days doing work experience with their exchange partner in Cuxhaven, and a day in school learning all of the vocabulary that they might need in the working world. And then Amandus-Abenroth Gymnasium will come back to us the week after and do a similar project. We've also been contacted by Bradford City of Film to make an app about the City of Film, and our students are involved in this. It's going to be an app and an information site all about Bradford and the City of Film, and they're going to be interviewing famous people from Bradford about their experiences as well, and that will be used to visitors of Bradford. I would encourage anybody who's interested in making film and working with young people to go for it. I also think that I would recommend the added challenge of collaborating with a school in another country. It adds another dimension to the learning. You're getting ideas not just from your classroom but from somebody else's. You're also getting 2 different influences of culture, belief, ideas, and young people working together to produce something. It's just something I'd really recommend.
Wenn man mit Mut und Hoffnung eine Sache kraftvoll anfängt, so misslingt sie selten.